Hello and welcome to Dünyalar meetings. My name is Dilek Ertu. I'm the team leader of Sivil Düşün. I have Sinan Erensu with me from Center for Spatial Justice. We're together with him, and on this side we have Yeşim Ersoy. She's a key expert of Sivil Düşün program. We are all together under this ancient tree, and in this atmosphere, we will be speaking about the power of communities. We will be speaking about combating climate change. Welcome once again. Before moving forward, let me leave the floor to Yeşim, and she will give us some technical information. Thank you very much, Dilek. First of all, once again, welcome to our broadcast. Some of you have entered the broadcast by filling in the registration form we have been sharing with you, and some of you have opened your screens. You have maybe had access to the broadcast over Sivil Düşün website. However, you have arrived here. Welcome. Thank you for being with us. Let me have a couple of reminders. If you have any friends, any acquaintances, colleagues, anybody from your surrounding that you think will be interested in this broadcast, please copy the link of this broadcast and very quickly share with the interested parties. With a very brief registration, everyone can have access to our broadcast after we go live. On your screen now, probably you are watching this stream from your computers or through your phone or your tablets. Let me have a couple of reminders. If you are watching from your computer, as long as you do not close your tab, even though you are in a different tab or window, you will continue to hear our broadcast. The same is the case for the tablets, only for mobile phones. If you're connecting through your mobile phones, depending on your program's version, this might change. Therefore, you might need to disconnect and connect again. Today, we have together with us very esteemed academicians. We are going to speak about the power of communities in terms of combating climate crisis and how we can take part in these communities. We will be discussing these issues. While you're watching us from your screens, you will be able to pose your questions to the speakers. To pose your questions, we have a button on your screen saying ask a question. When you ask your questions, the moderators will see these questions, and as long as time avails us, we will be trying to reply to your questions in the order that you send us. Just a brief note, if you have a specific question to a specific speaker, please write their names as well. Just a couple of more reminders. Well, as of today, we are going to introduce Dünyalar digital platform to you. Under Sivil Düşün, we have prepared a new platform to meet new people, to identify new objectives, for you to be enabled to work together and act collectively. We prepared a digital platform. From dünyalar.sivildüşün.net address, you can have access to this platform and become a member to Dünyalar digital platform. You can join groups, you can form new groups over this platform. You can also invite your friends to this platform, and you can have accessible discussions and exchange opinions and produce new ideas and act together. Throughout our program, in the meantime, we will be sharing some announcements from this platform. Another announcement is that together we will have panels that we will share with you, but tomorrow on the 27th of July and 28th of July, we will be coming together with you in roundtable meetings. These roundtable meetings will have regional effects, Western Mediterranean Northern, Aegean, and Eastern and Southeastern roundtables will be with us. Some of you have already registered. Some of you maybe have not registered yet. Please go into dünyalar.sivildüşün.net and register if you like. Today in the afternoon, together with our friends, we will be sharing the broadcast links with you. We have one request. There's a lot of attention and interest in our meetings. So when we are sending these emails, some of these emails might fall into your spam box. Please do not forget to check your spam emails. In the meantime, we will have our video and informative messages. So without further ado, I will leave the floor to our speakers and Dilek, and I would like to hope for a very fruitful discussion. Thank you very much. Before start of the stream, my colleagues came and told us that there's 500 people watching us. That's why it was very shocking for me, and I was a bit stressed. Apologies for it, because I want a very smooth live stream, and I hope it will be the case. Maybe some of you know, but let me explain once again. The European Union Sivil Düşün program is open for activists, NGOs, civil society organizations, and communities. This is a platform for creating inspiration, and it is a financial support, of course. It's a funding source. Today, we have initiated Dünyalar initiative. And this initiative's idea, where did it stem from? Let me try to explain it to you. All of us were very touched by the fire and flood disasters last year. Of course, some of the audience members were already there. We were in Ankara, and while we were in Ankara, we were watching from a distance while these disasters happened. But of course, the level of severity shocked us to our core, because we understood and realized that climate crisis is no longer a crisis for the future, it's the crisis of the day. And we asked ourselves, Sivil Düşün is a capacity building program, and as Sivil Düşün, how can we contribute? We discussed, we made our research, we consulted, and we made a decision, because we have seen and realized during these incidents that when the fires start, communities came together as a response. They joined forces, they distributed tasks, they combated, and they achieved. But as soon as the crisis was over, as soon as the fires ended, most of the communities dismantled. The combat didn't continue in a joint manner, but we see that it's summer again and the fires continue, the crisis continues all around the world. The climate crisis is evident each day. So we have said that these community gatherings, formings should be developed and strengthened. And for that, we should get into an initiative that would last for a year. And we would like to thank Mekanda Adalet Dernegi, Center for Spatial Justice. We asked them whether they would guide us, whether we could consult them. And we want to thank them for their great collaboration so far. That is why Sinan is sitting next to me, and soon he's going to speak more about the climate crisis. And for this initiative, let us share some information with you. You are seeing it on the screen, actually. Well, first, we will focus on climate, of course, the power of communities. How can we use this power for combating climate crisis? How can we further enhance it? But at the same time, we need to combat poverty, inequality, injustice. We will also touch upon these issues. So a method, a civic movement method would be used by these communities, and we will try to empower them and enhance the communities. We have, I think, one more slide. Yes. We considered this as 2 phases, July to December 2022. During this period, we will try to understand the communities better. We will exchange opinions with them, what type of activities they have, what are their dynamics, what are their practices, how can they act, what is the difference in organizations, and we will organize various activities, one of which is starting today, digital gatherings. And after that, in different regions, we are going to have exchange of experiences and ideas with you, and we will have a social platform. Yeşim already talked about it, and we will implement a social media campaign. And at the same time, at the end of December, we're going to organize an international forum. So in this period, we are going to see how the communities are formed, what is the method, how do they act, how do they combat climate change, poverty, inequality, injustice, and how can they exist. After this period, as of January, between January to June, we are going to be more action-oriented. We will enhance our skills, we will learn together, and there the social media campaign will continue, but we will present to you the tools and information that you will be able to use. And we will have a training program, and in the end, a mentorship and a funding call will be announced. Until June, that call will be open, and we hope that throughout this year, we are going to form new communities, and we are going to further strengthen the already existing communities for them to survive. Hopefully, you will make use of this program, and if you have any questions, of course, we have help desk, as you know. Please call our help desk, send us emails, and we will share information with you. Now, before leaving the floor to Sinan, I would like to thank each and every one of you, the entire Sivil Düşün team, and the team of MAD, Center for Spatial Justice. This is a very enjoyable and fun activity, and I hope it will continue. Sinan? Well, Dilek, thank you very much. My name is Sinan Erensu. I am a PhD academician in Boğaziçi University Sociology Department, but here I am with my hat representing the Center for Spatial Justice, MAD. The Center for Spatial Justice was established in 2016. It is a civil society organization, and actually we are a community as well. And when we were established back in 2016, and I'm one of the founders of this center, and back then we did not believe that, we didn't anticipate that we would achieve so much, we would come to this progress so much, but with the courage and inspiration we receive from other communities from the field, we progressed, and this is empowering us each day. Center for Spatial Justice is working for urban and rural spaces that is more equal and more in situations. We carry out various activities, actions, data visualization activities, collaboration activities. We have an environmental program, not only in terms of the environment's beauty and its green, but also the opportunities and environmental distortions, injustice dimensions are trying to be on our agenda. We are trying to understand it and act for it. And climate change is important in terms of the environment, of course. When we say climate change, we have to talk about the days that we are going through currently. Most of cities in Europe are experiencing the hottest July days of the last century, and this heat wave is starting to hit our country as well. The people who are working outside are not experiencing easy jobs these days. We are sitting under the shadow of a tree, so we are in a better position, but people who are working outside in the urban areas and rural areas, people who are working on their agricultural fields are experiencing climate change firsthand. And their job is not easy. Or children who do not have a nice garden with nice trees in their neighborhood, their job is not easy. And the people who are living in houses without air conditioning do not have easy days lately. Or maybe they have air conditioning, but due to increasing energy prices, they do not prefer to turn on their ACs. People who are living in the forest areas are very concerned because they are under the threat of forest fires. And after these heat waves stop, the nature disasters continue. We witness high precipitation, flows and floods, and people who are living close to rivers or water bodies are not having easy days either. So climate change actually is not the issue of the far future, as Dilek also mentioned. This is impacting today, our daily lives. And we continue, and we have even started to live with this problem and to combat this problem. Maybe most of us understood climate change as a result of these extreme weather conditions. We somehow know how they're related to climate change, and we will, of course, discuss these issues together with you soon with some figures. Maybe some of us believe that climate change is related to fossil fuels and actually coal, natural gas, and petrol, as long as we do not cease using them, as long as we do not keep them underground. Most of us know that climate crisis will continue unless we do this. So this is somehow well known in the society. However, how to combat climate change? And what may be our personal role in this action is not very well known still. And one of the reasons for it is climate change is huge and it's frightening. And it is some part of the negotiations going on among the countries. That is the perception. If the countries do not cease using fossil fuels, climate change will not end. So what could I do personally? That is the position of most of us have personally, and this increases our concerns. And in this program, what we are trying to do, what we aim to do, is to encourage people, and mostly communities, and to show that we can create big impacts with small steps. We want to continue to convince communities on these issues, and all these actions, programs, projects against climate change are going to work through programs and projects, and through these programs and projects we want to influence decision makers to cease using fossil fuels and to see the injustice created by climate change today and to push them forward for making these decisions. This is our aim in this program generally. And with these communities, we believe that we can further discuss climate change better. And one of the reasons for this is that through the communities, we will try to convince the decision makers and put pressure on them. And at the same time, these types of huge issues should be discussed at the grassroots level without the grassroots level, without communities to be supported and to become an actors in these issues, we cannot resolve these problems. That is our belief. One example of this we experienced in COVID, and we continue to experience it. The easier people have access to information, the better they take part in the issues, they become part of the solution as well. Otherwise, even the best technology, even the best solution can be a problem we experience and we witness in the spaces that we live in. So this was this part of the panel where we speak and you follow on your screens, but we don't want to continue this way. What we want to do is we want to raise climate awareness in Turkey together. We are going to try to estimate actually the climate awareness in Turkey, and we want your active participation. One way of this is asking some questions to you over the program that is called Menti. These questions are questions of Konda, research company Konda. In 2018 to 2021, they had 2 research studies for climate change. These are 4 questions we received from that survey. And you will see this Menti button on the bottom of your screens. Please click on that button and answer these questions together with us. We will have a presentation and I will move forward with the presentation. And at the same time, I will ask you to reply to the Menti questions. Let us start with the first question.
I'm trying to change it. I'm trying to proceed with the slide, but I couldn't. Maybe my colleagues can help me. Thank you. The first question is the most general one, actually. So climate awareness is being measured with this question. So do you think global warming is happening? So this is the question. So this is a scientific questionnaire which is conducted throughout Turkey. So we are not asking this question to you. We are not asking you if you believe in the reality of global warming or not, or climate change or not. We are asking you, how do you think Turkish people answered this question? Those giving a positive reply, what is the percentage of them saying that yes, there is a global warming going on? Right now I can see the voting goes on, and maybe we can get the votes of a few more people and then we can continue with the next question. So this is a basic climate change awareness question, and such questions are also asked in other areas of the world, and we will find the opportunity to make a comparison with them. I think this is enough. Now I'm checking my screen to get the results. Can we get the results screen for the previous question? Thank you. 70% is mostly the answer, and also 60%. So between 60 to 70%, I mean, Turkish people think that there is global warming or climate change going on. So this is the view of our audience. Next question. And let's get the answer to this question as well, and then we will make a comparison. So to what extent are you worried or concerned about climate change? So first, awareness was assessed, and based on that, there was another question asking them, does it make you concerned? So the audience in front of their screens, we are asking you to make a guess about the response of Turkish people in this respect. So as we see the replies, there's a clearer picture here for us. It's a less concern percentage which is envisaged, which is 30 to 40%. So this is the guess in average from you, our audience. And now let's look at the responses of Konda and make a comparison and have some comments on that. And we need to go back to our presentation. the first question. Do you think there is a global warming question? I'm trying to proceed with the next one. And to what extent are you concerned about climate change? And what was the result of Konda? 86.8% mentioned that global warming is going on in Turkey. To be frank, this is higher than my expectation or guess as well. And our audience replying on Menti had a guess of 60 to 70%. It's also beyond this guess. So I think this is a good starting point. This is how I get it. So Turkish people think there's a climate change going on. They are aware of this. When they see this question, 87% of them reply yes. So as far as I know, according to the latest research, for instance, in the USA, this rate is maximum 72%. And our awareness rate is much higher than this. So there is no denial of climate change here or lack of awareness about climate change, which makes us think that it's very good to take steps further. It shows us that if we are to create a community, it means that there are people with whom you can do this. They have their awareness, so they can participate. So there is a potential that we can see here. Yes, it points at a potential that when we are going to do something about climate change, the people around us will not say what's the importance of this, etc. What's the relevance of this? Because they will also share the same understanding. Next question. Are you concerned? This was the question. And this time, when compared to the other examples in the world, it's much higher, actually. So when we look at the concerned and very concerned options, when we add them up, I think it's more than 75%, although I cannot see it very clearly right now. So it's far beyond the world average, I mean, the concern level. We are very concerned, I need to say. So how can we explain this? So there may be different ways to explain this. Why are we very concerned? Because maybe we do not think that we can stop the climate change and there is no way to combat with this and we are ruined. Maybe this is how we think. And people are asking themselves, what can we do? So they are concerned and what they should do about this concern. It has such a connotation. So what kind of a solution can we come up with? So in order to reduce concerns, people should see themselves in a much more active position about combating with climate change, or the people representing them should be more active and they should be able to see this, or they should orient or guide their representatives accordingly. Or maybe this is not the business of or job of only Turkey. This is something global. We cannot do anything on our own and responsibility does not belong to us. Maybe this is how they think. Maybe they will say, I lack strength. It's over me and my geography and location. So what am I to do? So it may also cause concerns. And in the same questionnaire, this is the data from 2018, there was another question that they asked. It started to work very fast. I mean, this changer, it's shaken, stressed, yes. This one, for instance, they think that Turkish people think that there's low possibility for the government to take action to combat with the climate change. This is the most important reason for the concern. And at this very point, maybe our program could take over. I mean, the initiative under our program could take over and it can be more meaningful. Actually, here in many countries in the world, the decision makers are really idle when it comes to climate change. And in terms of taking actions, they are idle. And in terms of taking remarkable decisions, they are idle. Unfortunately, this also goes for our country. We think Paris Agreement even is not sufficient, and we are one of the countries that signed Paris Agreement the last. So maybe this is what causes concerns for people. And at this very point, we say that so far, I mean, as people who thought about climate change, etc., we say that yes, maybe they are idle at the level of governments and decision makers. However, maybe we can start from the bottom, lower level, and we can push or force the decision makers a little bit more. And some small initiatives that we will carry out in our village, in our town, maybe can reduce the impacts of climate change to some extent today. And those activities may push the decision makers to be more active about their decisions, and it may decrease our concerns as well. Yes, definitely. The next question, we have two more questions. Very quickly, we would like to ask for your contributions about those questions as well. Without seeing the answers, of course, it would have been better, but let's go back. Let's guess it together. The third question. Again, you are to connect to Menti. So regarding the solution of climate change problem, do you think you should take responsibility, undertake responsibility? Those who say yes, yes, I should claim responsibility. What is their percentage, do you think? So here there is the responsibility side of the issue, actually. So slowly we are collecting the votes. This is a tough question. So I should undertake responsibility for climate change. I feel this responsibility. What's the percentage of Turkish people giving this answer, do you think? In the first two questions, when it comes to climate change, Turkish people are active a little bit. We could see this in front of our screens, and those participants are being more generous, I think, now that they have seen this. So 21% said 90, and also others said 60. There are two different sides. So we can see the results immediately. The ratio. We need to go back to the presentation again. I'm clicking in order to see the results slide. Yes. 83% of them in Turkey says that, yes, I should undertake responsibility when it comes to climate change. I think this is an encouraging rate. In metropolitan cities, this is a higher rate, actually. Actually, this is also about climate justice. So energy, water is mostly consumed by people living in metropolitan cities. So they should maybe undertake more responsibility according to them, of course. So what is responsibility here? So mostly on the press, the responsibility about climate change is reflected as a personal responsibility. It's limited to this. So let's pay attention to water consumption. Let's turn off the tap when we are brushing our teeth. We should go on food, not use our vehicles. Of course, these are also important. If we can do this, it's also important to do this. But what we would like to underline here is to make sure that people come together, create communities, and through those communities, in their own activities, they should organize some activities or events for adaptation to climate change and decreasing its impact. And they should push their representatives more to this direction. And decreasing personal consumption is not enough on its own to combat with climate change. We could see the most important example in the pandemic. None of us step out of their homes for a while, and carbon emissions were only reduced by 7%. So only by decreasing the personal consumption, we will not be able to tackle this problem. It's obvious, I think, from this pandemic period. Therefore, we see that, yes, there are people who would like to undertake responsibilities. This is good, but this is not a personal responsibility. For a social transformation, first of all, in the background, we should come together with people and carry out activities. This is what we believe in. And in this program, we are trying to guide people in this direction as well. Actually, there are a few more things that we wanted to cover, but we are at the end of our duration, and there are a lot of other discussions that will go on after us, actually. So today, we will talk about such communities, their activities, And if you wish, we can give a break in this session. Sinan, it's very nice, actually. It's really to the point. And we see that there is a convenient environment here. People are ready. And if we can take action as the communities, if we can scale it up everywhere, maybe we can go further and we can encourage decision makers more, and we can also have a more solution-oriented pathway for ourselves as well. This is very nice. Thanks for the information. We will be together in this journey, of course. I would like to thank everybody once again. I wish you all good discussions. And as the Center for Special Justice, we are really happy to be a part of this project and program. And in the next panels, we will continue to have our discussions on this topic. So what is the relation between climate change and injustices, and the local activities and local communities, and what kind of changes they create about climate change? So we will have such discussions together. See you.